Hello and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time on this channel, you're welcome. I am A.H.P. I'm an author and I also do business. Now today's video is basically for that part of my channel where we do lifestyle, and I'm going to share with you how to prepare groundnut stew. Okay, groundnut stew. Now in my language this stew is called binyewa, but in Luganda, which is another language in Uganda, and it's called binyewa. Okay, so which is just basically groundnuts. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by simply showing you. So I've already got the stew cooking, okay, but I'm gonna show you the process before cooking it. So I use this brand of groundnut, okay, the Tropical Sun and Red Skin Peanuts. Okay, so that's the brand I use. But if you can get other ones, you can use that. You can even get them from Asda. I used to get groundnuts from Asda, or even if you can find them in Tesco. Like most of the big supermarkets should have them. And this one I got it from the Afro-Caribbean, and I think it's quite good for the price. It was about £5, just less than £6, about £5.49. Okay, for this big bag, but I just used quite a bit of it. Okay, and basically what you do is take some and take out like all the broken parts and all the bad ones. Just make sure that you pick them out, and then you're left with the good ones, like that. Okay, and normally we'll use a mortar and a pestle to pound it, and then use a sieve like this to sieve it into maybe a dish or like a tray, and to have it smooth, as smooth as possible. And you keep sieving it and putting it back into the mortar and pestle and pounding it until like basically there's nothing left to pound anymore. And then while you're pounding, you pound it, and then you put hot water. Well, you put water in your saucepan. Typically, you put water in your saucepan, and you let the water boil. And then once you've pounded and sieved out your groundnuts, you just mix it with a little bit of water to a smooth consistency, and then you add it to the boiling water in your saucepan. Okay, and then you finally chop your onions. Typically they use red onions, but you can use the white onions as well. Okay, you chop that, and then you put it in your saucepan, and this is how it looks like. Okay, so you keep stirring, and you just have to keep stirring it regularly, because once it starts to boil, it will boil over your saucepan if you don't if you don't keep an eye on it. As you can see here, it boiled over because I had taken my son to bed to sleep. Okay, so you let that cook, until it becomes like not too thick, but quite a lot thicker than this, because this is quite watery. Okay, and you know it's cooked when the oil of the groundnuts come on top. Okay, that's when you know it's cooked. So I made quite a bit. As you can see, the bag was like quite a bit down. So I made quite a bit, and I put them into separate Tupperwares, and then I'm letting that cook through. Okay, and I'm gonna put these two in the freezer. Okay, because I'll be eating it with other different what's it called? Should I say different carbohydrates? Okay, so once that is cooking like that, you add your table salt. So that's the table salt I normally use. So to your taste, basically, we don't use a lot of salt. So I put less than a teaspoon. Okay, like less than half a teaspoon even, just for taste. And then you let it cook until the oil comes on top and it's a bit thicker, and you can now eat it with either matoke, which I've already peeled and boiled. Okay, chopped it and boiled. Okay, so you can eat it with matoke, or you can eat it with boiled cassava. So that's why I've got those two there, because I'm gonna the one that is cooking now, I'll eat it with tomorrow's lunch with the matoke, and then maybe a few days later I'll just make some cassava and with a little bit in the Tupperware and eat it with cassava. Okay, I've got 3 pieces of cassava there, so I'll be making that. And then you can also eat it with rice. Okay, so white rice. Okay, you can eat it with white rice, the long grain or the basmati rice is fine. I use both long grain and basmati rice. So just boil your rice as normal and cook your stew, and you have it. And you can also, to this, you can also add cabbage. So you can add cabbage to that as well. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see me prepare the one that has cabbage in it. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to make that. Okay, the one with the cabbage in it. But most of the time we'll eat it plain like this. Okay. So so that's it. We don't add any spices or anything like that. We just add salt and on your onions, you chop it. But the way I've made it, because I'm in the UK, I don't have mortar and pestle. I use my good old blender. Okay, so for those of you who are in diaspora, like Canada, United States, United Kingdom, and you don't have a mortar and pestle, or you don't even, listen, you don't have that time to be sieving and all of that hard stuff, okay, because I would have done it even with sieved it, the same process, even with the blender, but because my son, I knew it was like nearly his bedtime, so I didn't want to be turning the blender on while he's sleeping, because he'll wake up. Okay, so with the blender, okay, if you're going to use the blender, just put your peanuts in, your groundnuts in, okay, your red groundnuts in, and then finally roughly chop up your onions. Okay, roughly chop up your onions, and then put like about two cups of water, okay, and then you blend. Okay, so blend it until smooth, and then you don't need to then mix it with water again. You just pour it into your boiling water that is already in your saucepan. So that's what I did, and then you just cook it through like that. That's how you do it. And you wash out your blender, of course, with soap and that, because otherwise it'll smell like onions. Okay, and then of course, whilst you're doing that, you would have whatever you choose to eat it with, whether it's matoke or cassava, which is known in my language as guana. Okay, you can peel your either your matoke or your cassava, and um, matoke is actually green bananas. Okay, so you can do that, or you can cook your rice while this is cooking, and then once everything is cooked, you serve it and you enjoy it as either lunch or dinner. Okay, that is it, guys. I shall see you all in the next video. Bye.